This comment by Nordic Warrior pretty much sums up what I feel like a lot of boxing fans are believing, right? Quote, I think it will be a repeat of the Mayweather fight, rigged sparring session with the winner depending on who the establishment favors. Now, my previous video said that Canelo will win easily. However, I had made a video before that spanned like an hour long in which I was speaking about that, quote, Netflix fight, but when we were talking about me encoding it, shrinking the file, right? I do that manually on the computer instead of letting YouTube do it. As I'm listening through it, I decided, why would I subject myself listening to myself speak, right? Why would I subject my listeners to listen to an hour talking about a fake fight, right? And so I scrapped it, deleted it, re-recorded just a quick version of it. Even though it spanned 8 minutes, I believe, it still was pretty long. Now, I stuck to just what I thought, but when we're talking about what I've said before, when they were looking for the new Mayweather, right, a lot of people were pointing out to this young class of D-level fighters, D-level fighters, Stevens, Ryan Garcia, Davis, and whoever it was, right, Haney and whatever. They had already found their new Mayweather. That was Terrence Crawford. I said that a long time ago. I still stick to it. The Mayweather of right now is Terrence Crawford. Now, the money he's brought in, he's never really tried to make big fights, right? And that was his, what would you call it? We're not going to call it anything, right? He's been a consummate professional. We're talking about Crawford. He stayed in shape. He's been a real professional. The only thing is that he's never taken it to the next level and when the opponents were there. Now, whether that was politics, money, whatever, all of it, right? But when you're looking at how the, quote, establishment has done in a lot of these guys that you believed were very good, we're going to look at just the last generation: Kovalev, Pacquiao, Golovkin, Lomachenko, Chocolatito, right? When those guys fought the guys that, the quote, when it was time for them to get cashed out, whether it was of their own choice or not, you saw some of the worst results in boxing history, right? Kovalev taking like 30 punches to the nuts in a row. I mean, he took like 12 or something like that, and then he took a right hand to his chin, and then he took like another 15 to his balls, right? You saw Golovkin. It's hard to say with Golovkin, right? Because there might have been a non-written handshake in which we'll let you have the fight, but you can't knock our guy out, right? And so he goes through with it, in my opinion, and doesn't get the win, right? He was never going to get the win. He ends up cashing himself out, right? Rightfully so. He took the bag and left. And it seriously marred him as a great, right? Which, in my opinion, yeah, you can take the money but you're not gonna be a great because you didn't beat him up, right? You didn't win that one. You didn't go out to win on your own terms, I guess. Even though the guys who fought Canelo, such as a Bivol, who went in there to lose, accidentally won and didn't get paid, right? And him not getting paid, supposedly so, right? Rumors said that he'd never got paid. Ended up going through a divorce, all this other crap, right? I mean, that's his own personal. I was gonna chime in a little bit on that, but we're gonna just leave that alone. Kovalev fights Canelo. Literally 2 days later, or whatever, not 2 days. Like, he goes to Russia. He's like driving like a shitty little car in like the mountainside hills of Russia. Pretty much says that he was never gonna win. Starts laughing, joking. Doesn't get paid for that fight. That quote fight, right? In fact, they pretty much just ban him from boxing for a few years until Turkey brings him back, right? Basically, that's what happened. And so you're looking at these guys who, listen, if you're contractually obligated to lose and you go in there to win, or you spill the beans or whatever, you shouldn't get paid, in my opinion, right? That's you were supposed to do one job to lose, and you didn't, right? So no, you don't get paid. Going into Lomachenko gets screwed twice over by two Americans top rank, right? Top rank, top rank. They're done. And then Chocolatito fighting Rungvisai, he was like 48-0 or something. They didn't want him to get near Mayweather, and so he beat Rungvisai probably like 8-4 by just outscoring him, right? But he loses by a lot because Rungvisai's power in the first 2-3 rounds were good enough to convince people that his power the first 3 rounds were able to let him win the last 9, which he lost, right? And so going back to Canelo Crawford is he's been the Mayweather, right? I'm not going to say the new Mayweather. He's been the guy to succeed Mayweather since Mayweather retired in 2015. The only thing is, nobody cared, right? Except for his backers. But now that he's 38 and he's had these paydays, when you're looking at a lot of these people who act like they're in the know, like Crawford's this heavy favorite, right? If you were to use YouTube media as a popular, what would you call it? As, the favorite of an actual fight, you would think that Crawford is like a 9-1. Like, there's going to be a 90% chance that Crawford's going to beat Canelo. That's what I'm saying, right? From the quote experts. And if you really watch boxing, you would say, how is this? Do they know something that we don't know? Right? And so you can say that, yeah, Crawford might win regardless of if he actually loses the boxing match. He might win a gift decision or just a fixed fight, right? But it seems as though if there were people that would be in the know, would try to quantify a fixed or rigged fight like they always do, into trying to like push the agenda that he actually won it for real, right? With skills and the it factor and all of this crap. So, I've been talking, it says 10 minutes now. A lot longer than I should have already. But this comment takes the cake for why, if there was ever a why, Crawford would win it, right? So, most people here don't feel like it's going to be on a legit, it's not going to be legit, and so most people have had trouble trying to pick who's going to win because obviously they've been leaving obviously confusing messaging on everything, right? If you were to read in to the messages and all of that stuff, but a lot of it just basically factors down to two things. It's either going to be a a fake Canelo fight in which the other guy sold his ass, which I'm believing, or it's going to be a sparring session in which they basically just screw over Canelo just like they did all of the other guys, right? Because he's not an American. And it's basically as simple as that. I took way too long to explain that, but thanks for watching.